Thanks for coming. Welcome to everybody. My name's Mike, and I'm from the food bank. And tonight we're just here to kind of show the fire survivors that the community and everybody in El Dorado County cares about them and has their backs. The food bank raised about $80,000. We'll give that away tonight. And the foundation, the El Dorado Community Foundation, will match that, and they'll give away another $80,000 to the fire survivors. You're welcome. After we get done with this, we'll go outside, we'll have dinner, there's drinks, everything's free. So after we get done with this, and then at the same time, there's a door over there by the back of the left that says fire survivors. Anytime during the night, you could go in there and get your money that we're giving away tonight. Okay? So, you've got your local officials here, your state officials, and your federal official to talk to you tonight. So maybe you guys could talk to them after you're done here and see what they want to do and how they can help. But it's just all of us together tonight. Just to show everybody tonight we're here together. It's pretty simple. Community helping community. El Dorado County strong. So the first people I'm going to introduce is the pastors. Pastor Bill and Pastor Jim, and they're going to come up and do a little thing. Come on up, guys.
Well, welcome El Dorado County. And especially South County. That's right. My name is Jim Eggert, and I get to serve as a pastor at Pioneer Bible Church out in Somerset. And we are also a distribution location for the El Dorado County Food Bank. And I am very, very grateful all these years, 16, 17 years, I think. And I wanted to say these words. Jesus said these words, "The greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever is humbles himself will be exalted." And I know Mike does not probably want me to say anything about him, but Mike Sproul, years and years ago, had the vision for El Dorado County Food Bank. And he was stirred from some words from his dad, I think, and he was the one who started this work that has blessed so many people. Last I heard, 28 distribution locations on a regular basis. That's right. And I just want to give thanks for Mike's vision and his effort all through these years. He is a servant. And I just wanted to say too that so many, regarding the fires, so many have been devastated and affected by the fires. And yet I have heard over and over again, see if this doesn't resonate with you, that regarding faith, so many people have said and given testimony as to how God has shown up during these hard times. Have you seen that? How God has shown up. And it is sometimes beautiful and simple ways that people have reached out and helped. And tonight is one of those ways. It truly is. And then when I think about future and how the future will unfold, and that is this community will continue to work together. And again, tonight is a great reflection of that. All of these services that are here that are going to be showing you how they might help, the monies that are being given away, and really thank God for a community that is here to help one another. So it's an honor to be here. Pastor Bill Brown.
I'm Pastor Bill Brown, and it is good to be here to talk with you tonight. I will have to say this, though. Had you told me a year ago that I would be standing up before all of you here tonight to represent Grizzly Flats, the greatest community in El Dorado County, by the way, I would have graciously told you that you need to go talk with someone to help you. Because I will say that we have a saying in Grizzly Flats. Those of you who are from Grizzly Flats, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that saying is this: it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from here. Right? That's Grizzly Flats. I mean, it's just kind of at the end of everything. You go any further east there, you've got the National Forest, and pretty much we're the last stop before nothing, right? And to be able to stand before you here tonight to represent the community of Grizzly Flats is an incredible privilege. It really is, and I'm humbled by it. And really appreciate everyone coming out tonight as well. This shows the strength of the community, because you look at some other communities that were hit very hard by fires, and they're fractured, fragmented. But Grizzly Flats is a community that will not be put down. And I have to say that, at least for my family personally, one of the things that got us through all of this, because I'll tell you what, having your church and your home and 3/4 of your community burned down, that's a pretty tough thing. And most of you here tonight know what I'm talking about. But what got us through was the fact that we know that God is still in control. Our God is in heaven. Psalm 115, verse 3. Our God is in heaven. He does whatever he pleases. And what he pleases is to bring whatever into our lives that we need to make us better. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to share a secret with you tonight, and then we'll pray together, okay? Here's a secret for you. I don't always like what God does. And I don't like the fact God allowed all of that to happen. But he has a plan. He has a plan for us. And I don't know what it is. I'm a human being just like you are. But God has a plan. And we can bank on that. And we can praise his holy name and know that he is in control. Let's go ahead and get started this evening with a word of prayer. Our Father, we just thank you that we can truly say that you are in control. That even a small community like Grizzly Flats, which before any of this happened, most people didn't even know where it was. Father, you didn't leave us out in the cold. You made provision even through this great tragedy to bring us to where we are tonight, to lay on the hearts of wonderful people a ministry to help those who are in need. And Father, we just praise your name tonight for those who reached out in love to us to help us overcome and battle through this so that we can look forward and see that there is a future for us. A future that you have planned and a future that you have called many to help us struggle with. Father, we just praise your name that we are here tonight. All the wonderful provisions, all the great food, Father, thank you. We just pray you bless it all. And those who have prepared it for us, we pray all these things in the name of your Son. I'm happy to introduce to you George Turner.
Don't go away. Stand right there. Todd, do you want to come up? Todd, are you here? Oh, there you are. You want to say something?
Mike says I have to say as little as possible, so I will say this. The Republican Party of Alberta County had an event that was canceled due to the Caldor Fire, and so the proceeds, the profit we wanted to give Pastor Brown for his church. So thank you so much for your dedication to the community. It's just a small token of our appreciation. God bless you. Thank you very much.
What a great thing, right? You know, it means a lot to me, especially with this community. This community has came together as one. It really has. You know, this fire was horrific. These last two fires that we had in Dorado County, the King Fire and the Caldor Fire, was absolutely destroyed almost about 60 to 70% of our national forest. It's not there no more. And it devastated a community in Grizzly Flat. These people, you people,
have been really, really great. I visited all the evacuation centers. John DiAgostini stepped up and opened his ranch to help a lot of the evacuees. The churches stepped up. It was a great thing. It really has, to see everybody come together as one. You know, Mike, when this happened, I called him and he says, what can I do? I said, let's get some food out to these people. So we worked it out. We went out there and we delivered food to people. I don't know if you remember seeing me out there with Mike, Jeff Lakoff and I, and also we delivered a lot of gift cards and stuff to the people that needed it in these evacuation centers. But you know what's really neat about the evacuation centers? Everybody was helping everybody. They really were. And that really, really touched my heart. One of the things that I've been really pushing is the individual assistance to help you. We're doing everything we can to help you guys, and I hope you understand that. The permit process, fighting through that. Also, we have a bill, AB 1068, working with Kevin and stuff, to try to waive this thing on putting solar on people's homes that have been impacted by the fire. Now, it passed the Assembly, but it's in committee now before it goes to the Senate to be passed. So I hope it does, and I hope it has happened soon. Also, working with Tom, you know, we got to stop this let it burn policy. It's got to go away. We need good forest management. We need to bring logging back to our county so we don't have these horrific fires anymore. But it can't come just from me. It's got to come from our Assembly and our Congress. And Kevin's running for Congress right now too. So hopefully we can change some stuff in El Dorado County to help us. You know, we used to have 12 mills in El Dorado County. I grew up here. Our family goes back to 1838 here. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, they were loggers and miners. That's what we did. But it was a great community. And we were one of the richest counties in the state of California at one time with the mining and the logging that was going on. So we need to get back to the basics. We really do. And we need to push to make sure that we've got good forest management so this never happens again. So I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and we are El Dorado County Strong. John, you want to come up?
Thank you, George. This is all tied up down here, so I can't wander around like I normally do. It's great to see all you folks here, and I want to say that because, and I know you saw it afterwards, and I saw it the day after, and we're blessed that everybody's here because as I know it was for you, I know it was more so than myself. It was emotional driving up there that day and seeing what we lost. This was actually the third fire, major fire. We remember the King, but we also had the Sand Fire, and that was had a lot of potential at that time as well. I called it the practice run for the King. When this fire, when the Caldor kicked off, I was really hoping that all of the work that the Fire Safe Council and all of you folks put into your community up there was really going to help. But as George said, unfortunately, with the fuel loads that we have nowadays in our forest, with the dryness that we have in our forest, nothing can stop it. Once it gets going like that and the firestorm starts, nothing can stop it. Which wants me to lead into the next part, which is how we are today, taking care of ourselves and taking care of our community. Remember that, because folks, I can guarantee you, if our Forest Service and our communities aren't allowed to clean up and fix this problem, we're going to be here again. We're going to be here again. So bless all of you for being here tonight. Thank you for the cooperation everybody had when the event was happening. I know this was horrendous, but believe it or not, this one went very smooth for as big as it was from an emergency operations standpoint, other than some of the closed door arguments that were going on. This emergency actually ran very smooth. And the fact that you are all here tonight is a testament to that. So thank you all for each and every one of you, and God bless El Dorado County.
I'd like to ask Assemblyman Kiley to come up next and speak to the crowd, please.
Good evening, everyone. It's really an honor to be with you tonight, and thank you so much to those who organized it. Thank you to Supervisor Turnbow for your leadership. You know, in those terrible days, we experienced just terrible devastation and loss. And I know that there are so many here tonight who lost so much. But often it's in the most difficult circumstances that we see really the character of our community come to the fore. And that's exactly what has happened here. During the fire, we bore witness to incredible heroism on the part of our first responders. And thank you to the sheriff as well for your leadership. You know, there were many other communities that were on a razor's edge that could have been lost if not for the heroic efforts of those on the front lines. And then in the aftermath, continuing to this day, we've borne witness to a tremendous outpouring of support from the likes of the Food Bank, of the Community Foundation, and so many citizens in El Dorado County who have stepped forward to lend a hand in every way that they can. For my part, I am committed to working with Supervisor Turnbow and others to help with the rebuilding process, to alleviate burdens to building, and to finally do something about making forest management a priority rather than just talking about it. I don't know how many tragedies we have to witness, but this is the time to finally take action. You know, there is a resiliency and a deep sense of grit in this community, in this county, that is part of the deeply ingrained in the character of the county. And that is what we have seen on display in the wake of this tragedy. That's what we see in this room tonight, and that's what I'm confident we will continue to see in the months and years ahead as the community of Grizzly Flats comes back stronger than ever. Thank you, and God bless.
Next, we'd ask Congressman McClintock to come up and say a few words.
Well, first, I want to extend to all of you who've lost everything in this terrible calamity my heartfelt sympathy. I can't imagine what it's like to lose every possession, every memento, every photograph, every recorded memory of loved ones. Sheriff D'Agostini took the time from his schedule to take me around Grizzly Flats while the ground was still smoldering, and I was completely stunned by the devastation. I couldn't even orient myself in the center of town because there was no center of town. No landmarks left to anchor a sense of direction. This is where the post office was, this is where the general store was, this was a neighborhood. You know, when the president came out to see the devastation for himself and promised federal assistance, I think we all breathed a big sigh of relief. FEMA has granted individual assistance where there was far less damage and far less financial need than there was from the Caldor Fire. And the president made a promise to the people of this community that the federal government would help. And I apologize if I'm going to vent a little, but I'm ticked. The county's done its part, and I want to thank Supervisor Turnbow for everything that he's done, and particularly for the close working relationship that we've had throughout this disaster. This county has done more than any county I've worked with over the years to assist in evacuations and sheltering, to provide disaster case management assistance, to coordinate debris removal on affected properties, and get people back into their homes and resume their way of life. Sheriff D'Agostini has been absolutely amazing, and his leadership is going to be sorely missed in this county following his retirement. I have been heartened to learn of efforts of local assistance centers, charities, food banks, businesses, and residents caring for one another. Our communities have been well served by all of your dedicated efforts. I have heard harrowing stories of families losing everything, their homes, pets, jobs, and indeed their livelihoods. I've been moved by stories of neighbors and businesses stepping up to help one another in times of need. Families opening their homes to those in need of shelter. The sheriff opened his ranch, as you know, to fire evacuees and displaced animals and livestock. And there are countless more examples, and I can't emphasize enough my appreciation for these efforts. From the outset of this fire, I implored FEMA to provide individual assistance to those whose households were damaged or destroyed by the Caldor Fire. And when President Biden came here, he personally saw the damage, he saw the heartbreak created by the fire. Officials from El Dorado County and the state apprised him of the need to grant individual assistance. When I spoke to the regional administrator of FEMA, I reminded him that FEMA had granted individual assistance in fires where there was far less damage and less need in the past, and was stunned when they turned down this request, especially after the president had made that promise of assistance to fire victims. Now, the president has the authority to reverse FEMA's denial and to fulfill the promise he made when he came here. Between September and November of last year, I wrote 3 letters to him drawing his attention to that promise and renewing this request. The president so far has ignored the appeals expressed not only by myself, but by state and local officials and all of you here. Rather than responding to my letters, he employed FEMA to respond. And their response, I'll read it to you. The impact to individuals and households from this event was not of such severity and magnitude to warrant the designation of individual assistance. That is horse manure. You all know too well this is utterly false. After FEMA first denied this assistance, I spoke to the regional administrator of FEMA. I implored him to diligently evaluate the circumstances on the ground, which clearly demonstrated the severity of the fire's impact. And I will say to its credit, the State Office of Emergency Service provided FEMA with detailed data that clearly spelled out the devastating impact this fire had on Grizzly Flats and more broadly on the entire region's economy. I implored the president to carefully consider these circumstances. And this is what I find particularly galling. As I said, the president has full authority to override the FEMA decision and directly grant the request of individual assistance. This is a big district. It stretches down to Fresno County. In 2020, we had the same situation down there with the Creek Fire that burned in Fresno and Madera counties. It took just a single request to President Trump for him to reverse the FEMA decision and grant the request for individual aid for the victims of the Creek Fire. One single request, he didn't hesitate. I've now made 3 written requests to the president in addition to my conversations with the FEMA regional administrator, and we've been stiff-armed. I publicly appealed to him in a speech on the House floor in December when my written request went ignored. I don't get it. I'd be tempted to say it was politics, but we have 2 Democratic senators and a Democratic governor and still no action. I'd be tempted to say it was ignorance. But the president came here personally. He saw the damage with his own eyes. He heard the stories of the victims with his own ears, and he promised to help with his own mouth. So I don't know why he's turned his back on our community. I just know that he has. We are not going to give up on this. All I can advise is that we keep raising this issue in every forum we can find. I'm going to be looking forward to an opportunity to engage Senators Padilla and Feinstein to see why their appeals are being ignored. And I'll certainly bring it up from my position on the House Budget Committee. And in a few months, it's likely the majority will change and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to hold FEMA accountable for its decisions. Let me mention one other thing that George touched upon that's the core of what happened in the Caldor Fire. Now, I've spent the last 14 years representing this community, and I've focused much of my work on restoring active forest management that once prevented the kind of fires that we're seeing today. The categorical exclusion that I was able to secure for forest management projects in the Tahoe Basin has proven successful. The measure that we had that passed both houses as part of a major legislative package, the WIN Act, and signed by President Obama, grants a categorical exclusion from FEMA, or from environmental reviews for projects of up to 10,000 acres under certain circumstances. We were able to get that into the WIN Act. We were able to implement it, but because of opposition from so-called environmental groups, we had to limit it to the Tahoe Basin, but it's been employed there. We were able to treat a 10,000 acre parcel between the fire and South Lake Tahoe. That the streamlining has taken the environmental review process from 4 years down to less than 4 months. It's taken the environmental reviews from 800 pages down to a few dozen pages. And we were able to get that patch treated. And when the fire hit that patch, it laid down, and we were able to put it out before it hit the city of South Lake Tahoe. Unfortunately, it was limited to the Tahoe Basin. We are trying very hard to get that legislation enacted throughout the U.S. Forest Service. This stuff matters. Active forest management matters. And we're still trying to get that same authority now. Sadly, it's too late for Grizzly Flats, and I am bitterly sorry for that. I don't know what else to do at this point except to keep beating the drums. And if you've got any other suggestions or ideas, I'm all ears. Our office has a table here. Greg Holt and Kim Prude, who I'm sure many of you have worked with, are there to assist in any problems that you're having, whether it's with the VA, the IRS, any of the federal agencies that you're dealing with. We are not going to give up on individual assistance. It is simply not fair and not right that the victims of far less devastating fires have been granted individual assistance, and the people of Grizzly Flats so far have been stiff-armed. That cannot be allowed to stand, and I am confident that if this president doesn't reverse that decision, perhaps the next one will. Anyway, thank you all very much, and God bless all of you.
Let's just go out back, let's eat, let's have everybody get to see each other. And again, we're not going to give up. El Dorado County strong.